After almost 2 years of work, they are finally in my hands. These are the production samples of the deck of many colors, and we've got both the fantasy and sci-fi decks. So obviously, first thing we've got to do is take them for a spin. All right, they just arrived. These are the sample decks, kind of like a prototype you get straight from the printers. Finally, we've got the deck of many colors in hand. And they send these over, including the sexy boxes, just to make sure that I am happy with every single little detail about these before they send them to the full print production run. And I'm glad that they sent these because there are a couple of fine tweaks that I want done before they go to the full print and you get yours mailed to you. First, they have a little bit too much of a glossy sheen. I want more of a velvet matte finish so the foiling really pops off and you don't get the glare from the card under your painting lights at your desk. And second, there's just a little bit of extra space in these heavy duty boxes that the cards come in, and I want to make best use of that space, so I'm going to boost up the card thickness a little bit more so they're even more heavy duty for long-term use. But enough of me blabbing about the little fine tweaks that I want to do. Overall, I am just in love with these cards, and I cannot wait to put them to use and paint a model with them. So that is exactly what we're going to do today. And I'm super excited to test drive the deck of many colors with these new Red Corsair models. I think it will be a great way to show how not only these cards are great for painting a single model, but actually awesome for coming up with a unique army scheme. So what I'll do is skim through all the cards in the sci-fi deck for a scheme that has a strong red included in the 5 colors, because I want my Red Corsairs to be, well, red. But the card I pick will show me what other colors to use for the remainder of the model and to build a cohesive, unique scheme that works really well with that red. And of course, there's no right or wrong way to go about utilizing these cards. I'm sure I'm going to go through some of the more wild and chaotic ways that you can use them in the future, but this seems like a good place to start for our maiden voyage. The card I decided to go with is this amazingly grimdark piece by Martin McCoy. It utilizes that really vibrant red color and a variety of other strong, warm tones to really give a lot of atmosphere to his artwork. Plus, it has this really interesting, cold, almost sickly sage green color that really complements all those warm tones. I don't know if Martin will end up watching this video or not, but I'm a big fan of his artwork. This is freaking sick. Now that we've chosen our Huckleberry, the other 99 cards go back in the deck, and we utilize the back of the card to find the correct miniature paints already in my collection. I'm going to use different paints from different manufacturers for this. Actually, on the back of the deck of many colors, I utilize 5 different brands. So no matter what brand you have access to or already own, you should be able to find what you need. Also, because we're using 5 different brands, it really allows me to make sure I get strong color matches across all of those 5 ranges for the colors shown in the artwork. Now, I'm always going to start by putting all 5 of those paints onto my wet palette so I can grab whatever I need to on the fly and have full access to mix colors with them. And that's because this is a great way to get comfortable with color mixing. I never used to be a big fan of it, but since I've been using a limited color palette, I really find this part of the paint job really fun. Do I need to know what color this and this are going to make when they mix together? Nope. But once I do it, am I still going to end up using it on the paint job anyway? You're damn right I am. To begin with, I'm going to mix a couple of colors together and add a buttload of water, so I've created a wash. I'm going to start with like a dark, resty red-brown, because that's what happened when you mixed these colors together. So that's what we're going to use. And the second tone we mix is going to be a little bit brighter because I'm going to mix in a little bit more of that red, just so the top half of the model is going to be painted with this lighter color and the bottom half of the model with the darker color. And you can see as I put this on the model that it just slides all over the place with my big old floppy brush, and that's for a good reason. We do not need all over coverage here. We're just trying to take away some of that pure black primer that tends to suck the life out of the paint we're going to add over top later. Now let's jump right into the fun stuff. And I like to begin with the most important prominent color on the model. And since these Red Corsairs have their iconic red armor, we're going to start with that. I'm only going to give myself about 4 hours to paint this model today. That is right in the wheelhouse for the amount of time I like to spend on a model and have fun without stressing out over little tiny details. And my favorite way to approach painting a model in that time frame is to use a ton of little scratches, because I can be fast, I can build up the volumes across the model with no singular brushstroke being all that important. It's the overlapping that happens with all these little scratches and lines that builds up the 3 dimensions of our shape, and it helps me decide which direction I want the light source to be coming from, and the red will build stronger in those directions. For our base layer, I'm just dulling down our demon red a little bit with Ashith Gray. This gives us a nice warm red to start with without going too bright. It also allows me to go up to the pure demon red later, so our highlights really scream as red without having to mix them with another color to feel more like pink or orange. I want you to notice how I'm not putting this red literally everywhere on this armor. Again, I'm defining the angle of our light here, and this is really important because I'll be able to follow that angle throughout the rest of this paint job just by referencing where I had it on the red. And then when I jump up to the pure demon red, you'll see the impact of that nice vibrant jump that we were laying the foundation for on our previous darker layer. All those quick little scratches will build on each other and create a harmony and natural progression without feeling too abrupt or too stark. I'm really just focusing on putting this pure red all over the areas where light is coming from and catching the most. It's reinforcing that light source. I can hit some edges as well to define the shapes across the armor. And again, I'm painting freely and relaxed with my brush. This is not a time for stressful painting. It's just lots of little light lines and not hyper-focused on heavy blobs of thick paint. Now, because we are only using 5 paints, I wanted to see what would happen if I mixed a little golden yellow into my demon red. And wow, this does add a nice punch of vibrancy. So I decided to take this just slightly brighter orangish red color and redefine those highest peaks of shine on this armor. And this really will give us that extra punch and pop. And this is the #1 thing that I recommend for all painters, and that is to push your highlights, your brightest points, even when they're small, tiny dots, to that extra level. And this is really gonna make your models pop for just a few minutes extra work. Today's video is brought to us by another mini painting tool that I've used for so many projects at this point, Milanote. You've probably seen me use Milanote to plan out my army projects, lard and complicated kit bash projects. Heck, it was a key tool I used to develop the deck of many colors. And last year it was a huge help for me in my Golden Demon project. So this year I'm back at it again to set me up for success. Milanote is an incredibly intuitive and super easy to use tool for all projects. And there's over 100 pre-built templates so you can quickly get moving on both the overall direction of a project without losing those small details you want to make sure to integrate. The beginnings of any creative project are always the most difficult, especially if you're like me and it's hard to stay organized and pull all of your ideas together. Pulling in inspirational artwork, photographs, even other painted minis is such a key step whenever I use Milanote. And I love layering in subboards within a project to drill down on specific things I really want to nail. For example, in this project, the build and composition of this complex dual scene. And the color picker tool is a straight up hack for you figuring out what colors really make the scene you're looking at really pop. And you can use those colors to develop your army, to develop your specific project, so all of them work well together. So no matter what you're painting, this is a tool I know you're gonna get value from and enjoy using. And there's no excuse not to give it a try because Milanote is giving you a free account with no time limit because you're a Ninja viewer. Just check out my link down in the video description below. So a big thank you to Milanote for offering this for Ninja viewers. Now let's get back to that video. Now we're done with the backbone of color in this piece, and that is the red panels of armor. You can see that the Red Corsairs actually have black panels as well. So we're going to do that now. And in order to do that, I actually need to darken down the first layer of this paint. And I'm bringing in pure black to go with my Ashith Gray to create that kind of pure black feel for the armor. And that's something that you may be wondering, John, you're only using 5 colors. Should you also be able to use black and white? Well, it's your model. You can do whatever the heck you want. And sometimes I do add a pure black and a pure white to my deck of many colors paint schemes, and sometimes I don't. It really depends on 2 factors. The first one is, what is the model I'm painting? If the model really does not call for those really vibrant pops of adding pure white or the deep dark shadows that you get from pure black, then I'm not going to add them. But sometimes you're really going to want that. The other thing that I look at is what colors are in the 5 that I get to choose from. Sometimes I don't really have a good color with some white pigment in it to push to add highlights. If that's the case, I can just mix in a little bit of white. Same thing for the 5 colors if there's not a really dark color that I can use instead of black. Now for painting the black panels of this armor, I want to use much fewer scratches and cover much less area of the armor when I start working on the highlights. Think of how much I built up that red and how many scratches were used across that armor that created those highlights. Compared to that, we're not painting very much of the model right here. That's because if this surface is to be reading as black, a much larger portion of each surface must be that black color. If we add too much of this gray highlight, the surface is just going to read as gray. To mix these gray highlights, I actually used a bit of the Autumn Sage because it is fairly desaturated and it adds just a little bit of a cool tone to our highlight gray that's going to really harmonize as all these 5 colors come together when the model is complete. The final highlight I do on that black armor is to just mix in just a little touch of pure white, again pushing those tiniest final highlights so that the amazing details of the model really stand out. One of my favorite things about painting with a limited palette is that all the tiny details that we have to paint across our model that we end up using a dozen colors or more to paint are now not an option. We have to be creative with the limited options we have. And you'll be surprised how easily you can mix really interesting uniform colors that pull the whole piece together for those little details. I was today years old when I realized that a 50-50 mix of carnelian skin and Ashith Gray make the perfect foundation for leather. Who knew? It creates a beautifully rich, deep reddish brown color that transitions so smoothly into our undertone shadows with so little effort. And then when I went to almost pure carnelian skin for the first highlight, it pushed that warmth perfectly. Now, which of our other 5 colors do we add to that mix to really push our highlights even further? Because remember, we're always going to try to push our highlights one level further than we are comfortable with. And why not bring in a bit of our golden yellow? This will keep that warmth in these highlights, but really push it up in vibrancy to show those cracks and highest details of leather that really bring it to life. So yeah, I think I just came up with my new 3 favorite colors that mix to make an amazing leather. And that's why this limited palette stuff is so damn fun. You can find mixes that just work. And the more you do this, the more you realize that there's no perfect paints for certain situations or materials. It's just a facade. What you have on your palette can and absolutely will work. After all, those colors worked awesome together for Martin, so why wouldn't they work great for you? It's really important that when children are young and they participate in team sports, that every kid gets an opportunity to play in the game. It helps build their confidence. It helps them create a level of comfort in otherwise uncomfortable, slightly pressured situations. What does this have to do with painting miniatures? Nothing. Just kidding, it absolutely applies to what we're doing right here. When we only have 5 colors to work with, we need to make sure that each of them has the chance to shine somewhere on this model. And as I see it right now, the Autumn Sage and the Golden Yellow do not have their place to shine just yet. So let's be proactive in letting them do just that as we finish up some very important details on this model. In the first place we can do that is on the shoulder fur and top knot of our Chaos Marine. I put down a heavy warm wash of of pure carnelian skin first so we get some warm contrast to then jump right up into a mix of autumn sage with just a touch of Ashith gray for our first highlight. And as I build up brighter and brighter highlights, I'm adding more and more pure sage to that mix, along with just a touch of white for the final details to showcase this cold sage fur over top of the warm undertones. For the cloak and loincloth, I mix the sage, a bit of golden yellow, and a bit of the Ashith gray together to get this really nice khaki color. Who knew, right? Again, this is our jumping off point for pushing this further into the pure sage tone. We don't want to jump too quickly to that pure sage, but we will add a bunch more of it when we add our first highlight. And for the final highlight of the cloak and loincloth, we are going to use pure autumn sage directly out of the bottle. I mean, I do thin it with a little bit of water. I'm not an animal. And again, you'll see me going back to using those scratchy lines and defining just the most crisp edges for this final highlight. And wow, I am loving how this color really contrasts and just feels a part of the rest of this model. Now, just because we're allowing each of these colors to shine does not mean that they all get equal real estate on the surface of our model. After all, Martin didn't do that with his artwork either. We're going to get to the golden yellow right now. And I started by putting a little bit in the highlights for the obligatory skull on the belt of our Chaos Marine. But where I'm really going to make it shine is by creating golden non-metallic metal edging for all of this damn armor. By simply mixing the carnelian skin with a little bit of golden yellow gives us a great starting foundation point for this gold. But the yellow really starts to shine when we get to our first highlight. And this is where I'm using almost pure golden yellow. See how little it's actually painted across the model, because I'm following the direction of the light that we've established with that initial red armor, but I'm also bouncing this highlight across the surface to give that impression of light reflection. Now, if you've ever painted Chaos Trim before, you know it's the thing of nightmares, and I absolutely hate it. But with this quick method, I'm just touching the edges, the little dots from the rivets of the armor, and just creating that brightest shine. And it really all comes to life when we get to our final highlight of mixing 50-50 white and our golden yellow to really give us that bright punch that makes it read as gold. And note that you don't have to paint non-metallic metal if you're using the deck of many colors. You could just use regular gold paint for this and make your own thinned down wash with maybe Ashith gray and carnelian skin. And as long as the tone of your metallic paint that you use for these cards feels like it's in the family of the 5 colors on the card, you'll be just fine. Another thing you may notice at this point in the painting process of this model is that my model doesn't really look like the art on the card. And it's because I'm not using the colors in the same painterly style that Martin does. That's because I'm not trying to overcomplicate things on this very first use of the cards. There's so much diversity in how you use them that's available, but just to start, I wanted a very straightforward, use the colors on the card and paint a model how I like and see how the colors work together. I could always adapt this and really take inspiration from exactly how he uses color and how they meld all over the place to create his unique style. I could certainly do that, or I could do all sorts of other crazy things in how I choose a color, how I randomly pick a model and a card or whatever. I'm sure you guys will come up with better ideas than I have. But this first experimentation was just so damn fun. I can see the inspiration from the card on my paint job. And looking at this model, I couldn't have guessed I used only 5 colors to paint it. And because it only took me like 4 hours to paint this guy, I'm actually gonna look through my cards and paint another one as soon as I'm done recording this video. This is just so much damn fun, and it kind of like lets me mentally check out and let the colors do the heavy lifting. A massive thank you to those of you that have already pre-ordered your decks. I know that it's been a while, and after we make these final little tweaks that I said earlier, get the next samples back and sign off, they will then go to the printer. So I appreciate your patience, but I just want them to be the most awesome possible thing, and they will be to your door this spring. And I will note that it is not too late to still pre-order your decks. You can just go to my link below for my website. I still have the pre-order discounted price going for a little while longer, so you can make sure that you get your order in and get yours in the very first batch. Now it's time for me to pick another card or just roll a random 100 and get to work on my next model. But don't worry, I'll be back before you know it with another new video. Just make sure that sometime between now and then, you find time in your day to slay the gray.